Alright guys, today we're going to show you how to rig up a stick worm. 7 different ways that'll always get you some pretty good strikes. And we're going to be doing it all with our stick worms from Boogeyman Bait Company. Alright, first way I'm going to show you here is how to set this stick worm up on just like a weedless rig. Maybe a weightless Texas. But you're going to go right in the head here. You're going to go right in about a 1/4 inch and come out. We're just going to take that piece all the way up, wrap it around that curve on that hook so it goes right up to the eye. Sit nice and snug and in line like that. Now take your worm and line up where the hook's going to go through, and take that piece and bring it right just through the point, straight through. And that tightened up gives you your weedless worm. And that's the first step. Let's go on to the second one. This next one's going to be real basic. You get another good 3/0 offset. Take your stick worm. We're going to do a little bit of a wacky rig, but sideways. That way when it does get a strike right through that middle, the ends aren't going to go up and impede at all. Short and simple. Wacky worm. Sideways or perpendicular. That way your worm is not getting caught on your hook. Okay, this time we're going to do a standard wacky worm. So we're going to get our O-ring bat. We're just going to feed that stick worm about halfway in. Get that hook and just set the hook in the opening of that worm bat. Take your O-ring and just work one right up that bat all the way to the top while that hook's in there. Hold that hook in nice and tight so it stays. And that's your standard wacky worm with a stick bait. Another one I like to use that works really good is I like to do a little Ned rig with it. But to do a good Ned rig, cut your worm in half. Just use that tail bit. Figure out, where you want your hook to puncture through, line that up. That's going to tell you where you want the hook to come back out of the worm. Feed that up on there, and if you line that up right, your Ned rig should be straight, so it'll sit on the bottom. Now some of you might have seen these screw hooks, or with the screw base in there. Real simple to use, great for using a stick worm, because you're just going to screw the head right onto that corkscrew. Again, find that point that you want the hook to go through where you have a straight laying worm. Bring that up and straight pierce through the middle. And now that one's set up. Weedless with the weighted head. That's number 5. If you have one of these longer shank hooks in your tackle, this number 6 rig is going to be just like you're doing like a soft bait. We're going to feed this hook right into the center there. Find where we want it to come out. And we're just going to guide that worm around the hook until we get to that point that we want it to actually come out. So just keep working that down. It'll walk itself around. And I want to come out about right there for this one. And just keep working that up slowly. You don't want to rip your soft bait. Now that one works good if you don't have a lot of weed beds and you're chucking around rocks. It's not the weedless rig, but it does work really well and does get really good strikes. And I've got one last special one for you. This one's going to be our 7th rig on here. We're going to use one of our big wide gap offsets. And on this one, it's going to get a little tricky. We're going to come in here about an inch of the way in. Hook it straight through. Bring that all the way up and around until it's flat. Hook it right through there again. Bring that up. We're going to do it one more time. This time we're just going to bring that hook down. And should end up somewhat like a 7. And that's going to be our 7th way of rigging these today. This one does seem to work really well. It looks pretty unconventional. But I'll tell you, I get a lot of strikes with this. Again, all of those I got are Boogeyman Bait Company. He makes some awesome stick worms. Obviously, the colors are just unabundant, so you can take your pick with him and order what you like. Get out there, rig them up, fish around and find out.